Good evening, gentle listeners or watchers, and welcome to Distractible. This episode, Bombshell Bob brings up bankruptcy, blows hard, and investigates sensory imagination. West Wing Wade becomes Slander Man, fixates on the Sahara, and steps on Granny. Media mogul Mark catches more controversy, consumes Carl, pumps with fist, suffers aphanosia, and tongues feet. From cutting to black to car symbiosis. Yes! It's time for the smell you can lick. Now sit back and prepare to be distracted and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome back to Mindy St. Clair's favorite podcast. And if you don't know who that is, I'm not going to explain it. My name is Bob, and I'm your host. And this is Distractible. I'm hosting because I won the last one, because the way this shit show works is, the way this show works, regular show works, two people compete and one person hosts, and whoever wins between the two competitors, they host the next one. Unless they don't, which has happened before. But not a lot, but it can happen. But it won't, but it could. But I'm joined by today's competitors and future hosts,
Mark and Wade.
Hello, I'm Mark.
I'm the other one.
Hello, other one. I'm Dad.
Hi, Dad. Oh, man, that's a sentence I've not gotten to utter in 25 years.
Yeah, hey, wait a minute.
Whoa, holy moly, man.
Quite the reveal in the last season here.
I can't believe that's the bombshell for the last episode ever. I've been doing that a lot with James lately, so sorry, it just leaks out.
How do you cut the black in real life? Do you have like a curtain you carry around?
Yeah, it's just a big blanket. You know the trick with the birds where you're like, oh, and then you throw it up and you run away, and then the bird is all, what the fuck?
I say it with dogs, not birds, but I know what you're talking about.
It's all the same. Babies, birds, dogs, it's all the same.
They're all the same.
Before we get into the main episode topic, we do small talk. How you guys doing?
I've reached a funny new level of fame
What's so funny about it?
where every sentence I speak can be misinterpreted to make a headline for an article. Not that this hasn't happened before.
Mark, why are you sparking so many controversies? What are you doing?
Oh man, I don't know. So I get a text from Wes, of Burning Tractor, the VFX company for Iron Lung that did all of that. And he tells me, hey, I know what you're talking about here, but I'm getting a lot of messages asking why you fired us on Iron Lung. So for those that don't know, Wes is the owner of Burning Tractor, a company that I've worked with on VFX for all of the bigger projects I've done with Heist and Space and now Iron Lung. I was on a separate podcast called The Lemonade Stand with Doug and his various friends, of whose name I definitely remember, and this isn't a bad look. Here they are now.
Alien Patriarch.
Wait, Markiplier left Distractible to go to Lemonade Stand, and then he burned a tractor and fired his VFX team?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's the hard-hitting news we report here.
Oh my God.
See, the headline of this article is Markiplier ditched the Iron Lung VFX company over budget and turned his own bathroom into a render farm with old servers from eBay, which is not what I said at all. What I said was, we were subcontracting a VFX company to do some of the simulations for the blood and the opening sequence of the movie. The problem was the iterations that I needed, because there were some translation differences between hiring them and what I would say I want and what they would execute upon. The problem with simulations is they're incredibly computationally intense. They require a lot of hardware specialized for just doing simulations. It's not just about GPU power, it's about distributed CPU power. So the fidelity of the shot, it's like, this is all me I'm reading my own quote, which is in this article here.
And I remember that was accurate. That was just a quote, because I did actually watch that, and somehow I'm remembering word for word what you said about that part.
He said he fired his blood company and forced his fans to donate blood for his movie.
Pretty much.
While you were saying it, I was thinking, man, Mark complained so much about how much he fucking hated Wes, and he was so glad he fired those guys behind the scenes. It's so crazy he's coming out. Yeah, no, I didn't see that was being quoted like that.
I think this counts as libel. Is this libel?
Libel is when it done been written.
Yeah, so saying that I ditched the VFX company, not only over budget, it's just such a disingenuous title. Is like, I feel how I always sue literally anyone at any opportunity. I'm like, yeah.
I heard you fired Amy, then slept with the director's wife.
Yeah. Well, libel. I mean, slander.
Oh, that one's slander. Get him.
Yeah, get me for the right one, man. Come on.
I guess that one's true. So,
I'm gonna grow a couple extra arms. Call me the Slander Man.
why has no one done that yet? That seems obvious. Wait, that's so obvious.
Thanks, man. That's how all my humor is.
No. I mean, like, it's such a good idea. I feel like it should have been done at this point.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Sue me, whoever I stole it from.
It's funny. I don't really mind because the benefit of having a YouTube channel is the ability to just like reach a lot more people than say an article ever could. But also the problem with that is that Lemonade Stand podcast, you know, all the words are there, but even if I say a big stream and say all the words, people can just pick apart the words and do whatever they want, which is fun. Anyway, I didn't fire Wes.
I want to be famous like that. That sounds great.
Yeah, the main point was to get the hardware so that Wes and his team could use the hardware as many times as they needed, and all I would have to do is the power. So it wasn't that VFX jobs were lost.
You know, I had that thought. I hadn't seen any of this, but I did watch most of the Lemonade Stand episode, and I was watching and I was like, this is like one of those things. They're going to quote him, but they're going to like cut it up or take like 5 words. And then there's going to be like gossip YouTubers or like headlines or something of people be like, Markiplier puts somebody on blast about their involvement in Iron Lung, some stupid shit. I mean, you don't say stuff that you're not like allowed to say, but you don't play the game that people play where normally in an interview like that, someone who's like a media trained professional in the industry would be like, oh, it's great. They're great to work with. Like they don't say anything, right? They say, they were asking you questions and you were like, oh, it's so expensive. We ran into problems, but I learned a lot. Like you just said, like what happened?
Wait, Markiplier went broke and knew nothing about movie making before he started?
Yeah, just that one clip where you're talking about the money and you're like, and the part that goes back to the budget, like, man, I'm so broke. Waiting for that to get quoted, like Markiplier goes bankrupt.
Markiplier makes $24. Oh fuck, I'm so fucked. This costs so much money. Oh my god.
Well, congrats, man, for making it.
Thanks. It's only up from here.
That's fun. Hey, all press is good press. Right, Wes? I don't know Wes, by the way. I've never talked to Wes.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, no, I have talked to Wes.
You've literally been on set with him.
But I don't know him like that. I don't know him to where I could be like, yeah, right, Wes, buddy.
He did so good on space. I'm sorry you had to fire him for Iron Lung. That's so tragic.
Yeah, you know, hey, if he just got an ego and he got more expensive and, you know, I can't have that.
We already have a 3-letter name on the podcast, too. We can't have more of them in our lives.
I think the next headline is Markiplier replaces VFX companies with real good AI.
Yes. That's the move. That's what it is. It's a secret plan for Mark to develop his own AI slop house.
Think of how much money I can save/make/lose.
How do you cackle and rich? Yeah, then everybody making AI stuff, only making money. It's great. They're all making huge profits, I think, as far as I have heard, probably.
Oh yeah, no, they're spending money. That's for sure.
It's fine. It's going to be fine. Huge profits.
I've been slightly distracted. I'm trying to think of a good pun for Sahara, but bald. Don't remember why, but that's what my brain's been working on in case you guys are curious.
What is Sahara from?
Don't remember. Something about when Mark mentioned hairline like an hour ago. Don't even know if we were recording at that point, but that
was before the episode, I think.
Brain got completely locked in and I was like, hairline, I'm like the Sahara. Bald, hold on. And I've just been there this whole time.
So you're just not participating in any of the rest of this?
I've been participating. I'm all my great Slander. Remember Slender Man?
He came with Slender Man. I do remember.
You did say Slender Man.
Is that one of those random, like you just a speak and spell and that just happened to come out? Like you take in information?
Yeah, you pulled the cord and it landed on Slender Man pun.
Wade is our monkey with a typewriter.
I mean, yeah, that is a pretty fit description.
The monkey's still bald. Sorry, Wade. Well, that's fun. I don't have much to say about that. I don't think I'm ever going to encounter that sort of issue in my life.
Yeah, but it's okay. I don't mind at all.
I should just start saying more controversial shit just so I can get news outlets to misquote me.
Markiplier co-host says, Mark, that's your problem. I'll never have to deal with it. So you should.
Distractible ended over spat over Markiplier's newfound fame. Jealous co-hosts could not. Anyway.
Feuds over whether or not Markiplier should have fired Wes dissolves Distractible.
Do you have any goofy headlines about your life, Wade?
No, thankfully not. I was at a vet or a doctor's office every day of the week last week, and I've kind of just done with that. It was exhausting and tiring and annoying.
Were they trying to decide which one was supposed to treat you, or?
Well, the only one that treated me was a dentist. That went well. I still have all my teeth. Went pretty good, I think.
No, that's success. Success.
Yeah, I won't go into all the specifics because, medical and hippos and whatnot. Not that I'm the doctor, so I guess I could share, but I won't. Anyway, it was just a long bleh week. Presley didn't do well with the anesthesia, so we had like 2 days of misery with him and just a lot. And then it's tax season. It's been a lot of not fun stuff. So in my free time, I've been rewatching West Wing for some reason, reading John Grisham, still trying to finish that book. I've only read periodically, but I'm trying to finish that book so I can start Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm about halfway through Runaway Jury now. I was going to read more last night, but then I have like one of those little neck lights that you can read with in the dark. I didn't charge it, so the battery died in the middle of like a really exciting chapter last night. I just went to sleep angry.
If only you lived in a house with lights.
Yeah, but I was comfortable in bed. I was going to like turn on the bright light while Molly's sleeping.
What did you do? Quietly in the pitch black room, you just wait.
I have done that noise before out of frustration at night and woken Molly up. So I do that sometimes, actually.
That's very funny.
That and playing a bunch of random Pokemon games. Oh, I 100%ed Berry. I went through an achievement hunted last night. Love that game.
I finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, at least all the books that are available.
Uh-oh, you've officially passed me.
Well, you haven't finished wait, where are you?
I'm on the last book right now. I'm like halfway through the last book that's currently out, book 7 or whatever.
I mean, I am impressed by the author's ability to constantly make the stakes go boing.
I know, right?
It's fucking nuts. Considering where it started, I'm just like, oh.
I think my favorite version of that is the transition from the end of the Butcher's Masquerade into the beginning of the next. Because at the end of that book, you're like, holy shit, oh my God. And then you start the next one and you're just like, oh my God, holy fuck. Like it just keeps
crazy.
I'll relate soon.
You'll get there, buddy.
You wouldn't think that it because like what the subject matter is. I mean, even if the setting is as apocalyptic as it sounds, it's like it just is a really smart way of escalating, and there's a lot of complexity in there, and I think that it's impressive.
I like when the dungeon crawls.
Like Star Wars opening crawls, or like crawls like creepy horror movie at you crawls?
It's more like when they're trapped in the trash compactor on the detention level.
And there's no 3PO this time.
Was it 3PO or was it?
R2 is the one actually shutting down all the trash compactors on the detention level, I think. But 3PO was there.
That's true. But I think he was talking to 3PO on the thing, and then R2 was the one actually plugged in.
3PO did carry the microphone walkie-talkie, whatever the fuck that was. Well, we all lead fascinating lives, don't we? Really?
3PO shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level. They're dying, R2.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's the one.
Yeah, he's talking to 3PO. I want to make sure in my brain. I was like,
and now we're in legally troublesome waters. You did too good of an impression of that scene.
Wade, you get a segue point.
One of us does. Yay.
Wade, I said Wade.
Yeah, I did. Wade. Yeah, sorry, Wade. It was I.
Oh, no, you know what? You're right. I misspoke. Mark, you get a segue point.
Wait, hold on. No, me.
Oh, you're the one who couldn't listen to your own name being said in a sentence where I said 5 words.
I was so distracted by Mark thrashing around. I was trying to think of another headline for him.
It wasn't thrashing. This is just pumping my fist in victory. But I'm sitting and I only have so much mobility.
Yeah, but I can't see your full cutout, so it looks like you're just thrashing because you're just shoulders and a head.
I just got the sudden urge to convert to standing. No, I'm not going to do it.
It only ever goes well.
It's too dangerous. I can't do that to myself. I would never.
I actually don't think I can do that anymore since I moved offices. I think if I did that, I would actually just disappear from the call forever.
I've tried to tell Molly I can't stand anymore, but she still makes me go places.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. I appreciate the effort, though. Mark gets the segue point.
Yes!
Because Wade was trying to recall and then accurately did recall a quote from a movie. Look, we're in the area of rehashing, right? This is where we are as a show. There's nothing new under the sun anymore. But I was talking to Mandy recently, and we were talking more about Aphantasia, which is a thing that we've talked about on the show.
Great Disney movie.
If you haven't seen the previous episodes, Aphantasia is, you ever seen that meme of where it's like there's a real apple and then there's like nothing and there's versions of the apple in between? Aphantasia means that a person cannot visualize things in their head. They have no mind's eye. I have complete aphantasia. I don't see shit. If I close my eyes and try and imagine things, I see like blackness. And I got nothing. I get no. But we were talking about that because we've talked about that before. And I find it really interesting because I think we cover the spectrum from me being completely nothing to Mark having really pretty vivid, realistic ability to picture things. And Mandy pointed out that that's one sense, that your ability to see stuff and see things in your mind's eyes, like, interesting. But we have a bunch of other senses. Sexes? We have a lot of sexes on this show. But I want to talk about our senses. I wanted to just sort of like do some non-scientific tests and talk to you guys about what level of, if at all, aphantasia or not aphantasia you have with other things. Because I realized in talking about it with Mandy, like I'm a musician, not as a career, but I went to school to be a musician and I played a lot of music in my life. I don't hear shit either. If I'm imagining like a piece of music that I know or like a song I like it feels like I'm listening to it. If I imagine the song, I don't hear it. It's not like I'm playing the CD in my head. But I imagine both of you guys, if you're trying to imagine a song that you know and like, do you hear it in your mind's ear?
I mean, we've seen it with Wade of him bopping to Shakira. We know every time you've got Shakira in your head. We see the little...
Oh, dude, I was just Enter Sandmaning right now. Metallica, don't sue me. Yeah, I can. It's harder to hear the instrumental, I guess. I can hear the lyrics very clearly. Like, now I'm going to hold on. I'm going to Shakira for a moment. You guys talk.
We all know about your undying love for Shakira. But literally for me, it's funny because like if I, like you said, Enter Sandman, know that song? I can sing that song mostly, probably. But if I try and like hear the opening guitar part where it's just the guitar and the hi-hat comes in, I know the rhythm and I know how it sounds, but in my head, all I hear is my breath. Because I tend to like breathe in and out I played a wind instrument, right? So when I'm playing music, a lot of times I'm blowing on my instrument mentally in a way. And all I'm hearing is like my breath. So it literally sounds like,
it's so weird.
it's fucking, I've never thought about it until Mandy brought this up. It's crazy. I feel like I'm listening to the song. Like I know how much I like that song and I feel all the part. I can't fucking hear it. I don't hear anything. I hear my own stupid breath in my head.
I would love to hear the symphony of your breath in like a full orchestra. And now the bass. Not even like the buzzing of the lips for like the tuba.
This is my life, man. This is my experience.
That reminds me of the South Park episode where they were doing the Guitar Hero thing and they just brought one of the guitars and
He
like...
can play Buckethead without the game.
click, 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 click.
No, literally, I appreciate why that joke is funny, but I was always kind of like, yeah, that's what it sounds like. But apparently other people theoretically could hear the song.
Okay, so we're covering hearing first, right?
Yeah, we can talk about whatever. I want to cover all of the senses, but...
Can you guys, if you were imagining Jeff Goldblum saying something, can you hear his voice say things that you, like, because that's a common thing is like, oh, if I'm reading something, it's like, oh, it's like I'm hearing it in his voice. Can you guys do that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Christopher Walken?
Yeah, I just pictured him in the cowbell skit and I heard him talking. Yeah.
I physically feel Christopher Walken in that, like, I feel how I feel when I try and mimic his voice. Not that I do a very accurate impression, right? But when I think, like, if I was trying to have him talk in my head, internally, I'm like I'm mouthing the words, but it's dead silence.
I think repetition helps. Like, I'm trying to think of like a conversation with my mom and I'm like, I'm having a harder time listening to my mom, like, imagining her voice than I am like something I've heard multiple times over, like a song or a skit, like those kinds of things I can pull back very easily, but just like a random sentence or something, like that's harder for me to form, I guess. I think I can do it, but it's harder to do than something I know I've heard and seen.
I have to like read words that are on my screen to know exactly like, oh, there's that voice. But what's weird is you guys know my impressions top notch.
Yeah, only the best. Sure.
That's in my head. It's like perfect. But if I tried to do this out loud, I mean, is that just me deluding myself? Am I not as good at hearing it in my head as I think I am? Is the subconscious just a complete liar?
I don't know if you've ever done this, right? But if you imagined a Jeff Goldblum line or something, right? Or if you imagined the, like, I need more cowbell sketch, and you hear in your head, you hear Christopher Walken, like, I put my pants on one leg at a time, whatever. And then you play that exact clip. I feel like you have probably an accurate enough judgment to where you could be like, yeah, that was pretty, like, it sounded like I thought it would sound. It sounded like I heard it in my head. I think the problem is that doing an impression is not as straightforward as it seems.
Yeah, because we're physically constrained.
I don't think it's that you can't hear the voices. I think it's just really hard to recreate someone else's voice because of the physiological components of it.
Also, the way we hear things in our head is different than how they come out of our mouths. Because some of the impressions I do that I think are some of my best sound terrible out loud, but like the way I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then the ones I'm like, that's okay. People are like, that's such a good impression. I'm like, is it?
I was driving just around, I can't, nowhere particular, but I was driving and I was lost in thought. And I had this strange thought that kind of gave me like shivers down my spine. And I went like, does the voice in my head sound like me? Like I asked myself that, and then I was talking to myself in my head. I was hearing my own voice. I'm like, it doesn't sound like me. Like if I was speaking out loud, sound like me. I'm like, then who is it? Then who's in my head? So I like freaked myself on my drive because I'm just like. But then after that, I was like, oh wait, no, it sounds like me. But did it before? You know, like is that just it pretending now to sound like me?
The other person in your head was like, oh wait, yeah, how do I sound like Mark?
Hello, everybody.
Is that what I sound like to you in your head?
Always, man.
You go back to that video, that's not even what I sound like there. Hello, everybody.
No, in my head, it's a perfect impersonation, honest.
That little head bob, that's exactly right.
Yeah, with my not face cam. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, well, another one that I think is interesting, and we're talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, so this is a good thing to focus on. I never thought about this until I started getting into this specific book series because the audiobooks for Dungeon Crawler Carl are very popular. And it's because the voice actor who performs the audiobooks does a crazy good job. Almost all the voices, except for a couple exceptions, are from the same guy. And the voices are wildly varied and very good. And I kept seeing people being like, oh, I love the audiobook. That's not how I thought Donut would sound. I have a totally different voice for whatever. And I'm like, I didn't think they sounded like anything. Like, what the fuck do you mean that's not how they sound to you? They sound like they sound when he sounds them. In my head, I don't hear, but apparently people, when you're like reading or whatever, you make a voice. Do you guys do this?
This ties into a very interesting thing that I think can finally relate some of this aphantasia to not. And it just made me realize I have two modes of reading, right? I have a mode of reading where I am sounding everything out and I am hearing the voices and it's slower. It is just more involved and it's like I'm I can't say that it's helping vividly imagine anything, but sometimes I'm reading the words in my head as I'm doing it, right? And then when the characters get there, it can be their voices. The other mode of reading is there is nothing happening as I'm reading. It is pure just comprehension. That's when I'm moving fast. That I think paints the better picture of things happening, but less about the voices. It like turns into this different thing. Or sometimes it's just like I'm just comprehending because I'm like, yeah, I want to get through this section because it's like for some reason or another, I've like my attention lapses and I'm just like zoned out and I am understanding everything, but it's not translating to everything there. So I think actually I'm going to lump that middle one with the vividly just to the first one because it is slower and it's like taking your time and it's like, oh, I want to really savor every word here. And then the other one is just pure comprehension. I don't have any imaginations associated with it. It is just word go in. It does not get transcribed. It is just the information of it goes into the ether and it's darkness.
Do you feel like you comprehend less when you're reading, I don't know, sort of creatively or whatever, when you're enjoying it? Or is it just like slower?
I honestly don't know because I haven't taken a test between the two. I think it's probably about the same, but one is faster, much faster, which might explain why you're so quick-witted is because if you don't have to translate it into another like layer of imagination, then it can go like zaboom. I think that there is something about that when people are really good at what they do and really tuned in to what they need to make happen. It's unconscious, it's instinctive, and I think maybe passing through that like instinctive layer removes any of the conscious imagination front area.
This is a thing that we've done. We have together, the three of us have done improv comedy in a lot of different content. We do it on this show, but we've done it in a more traditional sense in person on stage where we're building, we're trying to build a scene. We're trying to do a sort of traditional improv. When we're doing that in person, we're on stage and someone is like, oh, welcome to my ice cream shop. In your head, are you like, here's the ice cream, like this is the counter, here's the shop. Are you like crafting, are you imagining that into reality and like merging whatever, something you're imagining with what we're doing in the scene in a way?
Yeah, that's how I keep track of like physically where things are. Like if we use a broom and then we set it down, I'm like, there's the broom.
That would be so helpful.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It's not like I'm looking at a VR headset and seeing stuff lying around, but it's like a quick sketch of like the area. Well, yes.
But like if you look back over like if we're doing something and you look back over your shoulder and you're like, that's where the broom is or whatever, you have like some imagery of it or something.
Not perfectly, not always, but like, yes, to some extent. The important things in the scene that we need to keep track of, like whenever I do there's obviously times where I'm like, oh crap, I just stepped on grandma. I forgot that's where she was in the scene. But like, if I'm doing a good job on that particular scene, then yeah, I'm like, yes, that's the broom. Here's the ice cream stand. There's the wood beams and there's the sign that says ice cream. Like I see those things in the scene while we're doing it. They're like rough sketch layout versions of it.
I can see that would be really beneficial when we're doing.
Oh, immensely. Can't imagine not having it.
Oh, you do improv better than any of us. Like you can't talk. Oh, you can't have all the benefits.
Yeah, but it's like one line. I might as well be standing in the middle of the space, not interacting with anything, and everyone else around me is doing shit, and I'm just like, I can't see, so I don't know what we're doing right now. Like, that would really change how that feels to me, I suspect. But that's really interesting.
Yeah, we did a scene one time, and I remember Ethan was like mining, and I was like picturing him mining something. Like I even saw a point where he like looked down, like I saw the rock break and fall that he hit with the pickaxe, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, there's moments where I get really into it. Then there's moments where I'm like, kind of half there because my brain's not functioning. I'm so worried about what I'm going to say that I kind of miss what other people are putting down. So there's definitely, as a not professional at it, I mean, there's definitely moments of, oh, I'm fully in. And there's moments where it's like, I can't keep up. What's there?
Yeah, I think also it can be a detriment sometimes because if we're so caught up in the vivid imagination of things, we're not focused on what's actually happening because we're trying to like juggle like, okay, the counter was over there and he wiped that and he was like, what did he just do? Oh no.
Yeah.
So it can slow things down, much like with the reading. It does slow things down. And, in the middle of a scene isn't a time to go around and look, I'm enjoying this. I'm savoring this. Every word. What? Oh no.
Oh no, is it my turn to talk?
To go back to the books part, I think I don't consciously like make or invent voices for people. But if there's like a movie adaptation or a show adaptation of something I've read, and it's not at all what like I guess I imagined, I notice that more. If it's close enough, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But there's been, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but there's been certainly times where I've seen like a show or a movie and someone talks as like, I don't know, imagine like the Book of Mice and Men, if Christopher Walken played Lenny's like, I tend the rabbits, George. It's like, that is not what I imagine Lenny sounding like. I can't get into the movie because that character is so not what my brain thought he would sound like. I don't appreciate it whenever it's more like what I expect, but whenever it's the opposite or very different, then my brain's like, wrong, can't get into this movie, wrong voice, bad voice.
Bad voice. You don't want the bad voice.
That's so funny. I've always thought people were just being ridiculous when they see a movie and they're like, that character's all wrong. That's not how Batman would talk, and that's not how he's supposed to. And I'm like, this is the one movie of this. He looks like he looks in the movie, I feel like. But they're, they have read the comic books. They have read the non-comic regular books, whatever. They have these images. I don't have that problem. I'm easygoing. I guess that's why I'm so casual.
I am vengeance.
Well, we wandered away a little bit, but so you guys don't have any more or less aphantasia as applies to audio stuff.
I don't think so. I hear it pretty well.
No, yeah, I can play pretty much whole songs.
And I have about the same.
I think it's hard to hear the instrumental and the lyrics at the same time. I kind of have to focus on one a little bit more than the other. There's some parts where they overlap, but if I'm focused on the words, it's harder to hear the music. But then like as soon as like gripping your pillow tight, then it's like, then I hear like the drum drop.
What is it? What song is that?
Enter Sandman.
Biting your pillow hard.
Flipping your pillow to the cold side.
Mr. Slandman.
Well, I don't know if any of these are going to be different then. I guess I was curious if it was like so far, we're all the same.
No one's the avatar of senses in their heads. I'm willing to bet.
I don't know, maybe Mark is. Mark seems to be the strongest of us with the different types of bending we've discussed so far. But all right, next one. Smells.
Nothing. This is where I think I actually have aphasia. Nose fantasia.
Olfactorasia.
I could not tell you what a thing smells like to save my life. I don't have strong smell memories. Some things will be like smell and I'll be like, oh, I've smelled that before. I really, truly don't have a smellgination.
I hate that word, but it's very accurate.
A handful? First, I can go a rose and gasoline. I can kind of get the scent of if I imagine, but other things I'm like, okay, garlicky mashed potatoes, I can kind of get the garlic, like a really strong garlic. But like if I'm just trying to like a steak, I'm like, come on, give me something. Like, no, nothing really coming there.
I sometimes wonder if I have a sense of smell and I go like, no, I can smell that. Okay.
Well, so conjuring a smell is tough. But what about if you, I don't know, gasoline is kind of, what if it's like the smell of your house growing up or the smell of a grandparent's particular cologne or perfume or something?
I'd have to actually smell it.
Yeah, I'd have to actually smell it.
Shit. But if I actually smell something, it's like a smack in the face still. Like I do have a strong connection to it memory wise, but I don't know if that changes whether I'm nose phantasic or not.
Smell's a tough one. I don't have a lot of smells that I'm like, yes, I can bring that out of nowhere. So like if I smelled that smell, yeah, I'd remember it probably, or I'd be like, oh man, that just reminds me of like bacon at my grandparents' house when I'd wake up and it was cooking. I smell it. But like right now I'm like, come on, bacon smell. And it's just not coming.
I can't conjure anything. Like even if it bad smells, like just poop, straight poop. I can't smell. And I'm grateful for that.
No, that is nice. That is nice.
I'm like, give me food. Mark's like, poop. Come on, poop.
No, I'm saying a strong smell, like a bad one. Because, negative memories are stronger than positive ones sometimes. So it's like, I don't think that I can conjure that smell in my imagination. I wouldn't even know the capability of doing that.
I wonder if people can do that. That crosses a barrier to be like where if you're trying to imagine a visual or if you're trying to hear something, that's a thing where like it's not completely tangible. I mean, audio is sound waves, so you are but like when you're trying to imagine a smell or a taste, which we'll also talk about next, it is a thing where it's like it's a chemical thing. It's not like your body conjures the correct chemicals and then you smell it. It is like, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's like the sensation of the smell or the smell, because sometimes like your nose gets a tickle if you smell something like the gasoline. It's like it's right there. It's almost like whenever a word's at the tip of your tongue. It's like the gasoline's right there, but I can't quite smell it.
I can rotate the gasoline in my head. I can hear the sound of it glugging into the car. I
can picture me pouring gas all over myself at the pump, but I can't smell it.
Now imagine that, but all your other senses, and then you're just like me.
I can't relate to you. No, I can't relate.
Can't imagine that.
Couldn't be me.
All right, well, this one's pretty closely related, but then so let's also talk about taste. Is it any different for taste for you guys? Can you conjure up a taste of a thing and have that like?
I think this would be like there's a vague outline of it, because if I imagine sour, like if I imagine biting into a lemon, I'll start salivating. Like, so clearly there is and my tongue will start to feel weird. Like if I think of that Warhead video that we did, I'm like, I already got it. It's already building up. So there's something there. I can vaguely be like, I think I know what turkey tastes like. I think I can kind of imagine that flavor. There's also texture to it, which is a hard thing to separate out.
Yes, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, texture I can picture vividly. That's no problem at all. The taste though is like vague, ethereal, but it's there, but it's less concrete.
Yeah, the other senses are coalescing and making it hard. Like biting into an apple. I can feel it. I can feel the juice. I can almost taste or smell it, but like it's all the others, like the sound of the crunch, like all of that is there. But like the taste and the smell both are kind of eluding me. Again, garlic, I mentioned like the garlic mashed potatoes. I can feel them going into my mouth. Like even like an occasional lump in it where it wasn't fully mashed. Like all that's there. And there is the sensation of garlic. But I can't tell if it's the taste, the smell, neither, both. It's too lumped in with the other ones. And the texture is a big part of that. Biting into like a Skittle versus a steak versus a bread roll. There was a place called Grand Finale in Cincinnati that closed down. I went to a handful of times in the past. And they had these really great rolls. Like I loved their bread. It's right there going into my mouth and tasting, even though it's been gone for like 5 years, but I just can't, I stop right short of being able to enjoy it in my imagination. It's like it's going into my mouth, but gone.
This is a random tangent, and I thought this really fascinating, but the rolls. I have only been to the Grand Finale once. Costco's in-house yeasted dinner rolls, you have to buy them in like a huge fucking bag, but those are close. And they're insanely good. I got them randomly this holiday season because we hosted a bunch of people.
Tell me that name again.
Like if you just go to Costco and go to the bakery, they just sell huge bags. And I think they're just called dinner rolls. It's just like the made at Costco, made in-house dinner rolls. They're like yeasted dough. They're fucking amazing. We hosted a bunch of family over Thanksgiving and Christmas this year. I swear every person who was here was like, where did you get these rolls? Did you make these? No, it's this huge fucking 10-pound bag of rolls from Costco, but they're really good. Anyway, random thing. And you have to buy a whole lot of them. So it's kind of a Like you can freeze them maybe or whatever, but it's kind of a pain.
It's right there, like the ripping apart the little thing in the center, the little circle in the center. I can see the butter melting on top. I just want to taste it again.
You try the Costco ones. You'll have to eat a lot of them, but they're real good.
There is the strange association that we've talked about in this podcast before, whereas like if you can imagine yourself licking something and you know exactly what it would feel like to lick it, not so much the taste, but just the texture. I don't know why that is so strong, because if the taste is not that strong, but pure texture is, like, is that just tying into the whole body's ability to sense like touch?
Mark, you get another segue point.
My brain did something horrible where I got hair, like licking hair sensations.
No, yeah, that's the next one. That's called tactile imagery, and it is different from smelling and tasting. It is specifically the texture, and it's involved in eating because you can feel any part of you that has nerve endings. You could feel a tactile sensation if you lick something or you touch it with your hands or whatever. This is one where I think I actually am not a zero. Of all the things that I can't, like you said, Wade, it's like dramatic things. Like if I imagine licking a basketball or hair.
I can almost taste the rubber. It's right there with the basketball. Like I can feel.
This is the one where it's like, it grosses me out. This is why I'm sort of sensitive to textures in food, because this is the one thing where it will gross me out, where it's like if I imagine the texture of a thing I really didn't like that I ate or that I had trouble, I can summon that a little bit, and I can get that reaction where it's like, ugh, queasy, whatever.
You brought me to styrofoam just now, and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I'm really glad I don't hate styrofoam, because I could totally probably summon the texture enough. But I could kind of do it, guys, but it sounds like it's really vivid for you guys. Like it's crisp, sharp.
Texture's pretty strong.
It's pretty strong. It's to the point where if I imagine all the textures that I really, really don't like touching, it just makes me physically uncomfortable, like what you were guys saying. Especially like the felt roof of an old car, and just like, ew.
I'm literally fidgeting with two little pieces of felt right here on my desk because I think it's funny because it's fuzzy.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Well, look, they're like little feet you put on furniture, right? They're just like,
yeah, I know. I get it. I'm licking them right now. I know what they are.
I'm not licking them. Wait. I don't like that. No, that's not good.
Yeah, see?
I love the listener's perspective of some of what we said.
Oh, that tastes so much worse than the texture is. What is that? It tastes like glue.
Markiplier licks feet live on Distractible.
I did not do that. That is not true. Slenderman.
There's nothing wrong with felt, you weirdo. You psychopath. Who doesn't like felt?
Not as bad as cotton or styrofoam, but it's not great. Like felt and velvety textures, yeah.
Cotton balls are concerned. Hate it.
Last night I sliced my hand open with one of those like Reynolds wrap little serrated edge things. Like I can feel my thumb just running along the edge lightly, and I can kind of feel the cut again. And the cut part's not pleasant, but like I can feel those textures. I can feel the texture of the actual aluminum foil or plastic wrap. Like texture to me comes very easily in my imagination.
Can any of us imagine positive textures, or is it only the shitty textures that we hate that we can? Oh, like ice cream. I can imagine the like creamy, delicious texture of ice cream. That's a good one, right? We can all agree.
Yeah, I like shakes with chocolate chips in them sometimes, like a chocolate shake with hot fudge and like chocolate chips. I can feel the chocolate chips coming through the straw.
Or like the first lick of like a sucker, like you unwrap a Tootsie Pop, and when it's dry, and you're like,
The little edge, the little lumpy edge that you go and hit, yeah.
And sometimes there's like chunks out of that, or it's a whole different.
Again, mashed potatoes or steak or apple, like all those textures are there.
I think that's literally the only category where I feel like I'm not just a straight up zero.
So you qualify as human, I think, if you can do that.
If you're all zeros across the board, you're not a human. But if you have any imagination in any of your senses, then you call it. Well, thank God I made it, because I don't think this next one counts for me either. I don't even know if this is a sense. Proprioception. Anyway.
Yeah, proprioception.
Motor imagery, movement imagery. I've always thought this silly when there are things, right, where it's like, oh, I'll teach you how to golf. Now envision your swing and your swing. And I'm like, I just fucking wagging my arms around. How is this going to help me actually golf? Do you guys, if you're imagining you're doing something, especially if it's a thing you know how to do you feel like you have a good, vivid imagery of whatever, chopping an onion?
It's not 30 FPS, if that makes any sense. Like I'm not getting full frames in my imagination. There's like missing sections, but like I can see a swing. but like it's not as smooth, just like, yes, there it is. There's pieces missing, but yes.
This ties into something that I experienced in my childhood when I was going to sleep. Oftentimes, I would imagine my whole bed was swinging, and I could feel like myself swinging. I could feel like my center of gravity shifting, even if like I'm not moving. So I think that ties into that because it's like the body position thing. I stopped doing it for a while, and it got like I lost the ability to do it for a little bit. But then, a few years ago when I was trying to, when I was doing my polyphasic sleep bullshit, I would be like, okay, I gotta force myself to take this 45-minute nap. I only have 45 minutes to sleep. I gotta get to sleep. So I would start to do that again. I'll be like, I wonder if I can still do that. And it was really weak, right? It was weak at first, but the more I did it, the more I practiced it, the more I got better at it. So it's one of those weird things where I think actually you can get better at that one, because then eventually that evolved into something else I talked to you guys about, which is where I was like trying to find these meditations. And what I would do is I would imagine myself sitting in a chair. I could feel my arm lift, and there was this wooden bowl of like wooden spheres, right? So I'd pick up a ball and I'd put it in another bowl, and I'd be counting as I did, and I could feel the tactile, like less about the wood, but more about my position in my trying to separate my clearly laying down body and me moving an imaginary arm. And it was the stronger that connection got, the quicker I was able to just like slip into sleep. Weirdly enough. I don't know why.
That's really funny. I never connected that to that you were really imagining the motor. I use that. I specifically, that scenario of like sitting at the table and moving a thing from a bowl to another bowl. I use that. That does help me like fall asleep and or sort of meditate when I'm trying to focus and like quiet everything in my mind. But I don't at all. It's not about the sensation of the motor skills part of it. It's entirely about like using it as enough of a focal point where it captures my attention, but it's not enough of an activity that it requires any serious imagination or thought, because it's, it's equivalent to like counting sheep or other things that people, do and that come up, examples of that. But part of it is that you feel the motor imagination, and that's like what makes it calming.
Yeah. And because I think it's like you're stepping out of your physical form into your mind, which is where you are when you sleep. So it's kind of helps that, right? And it's something you can get better at. I do think that it weirdly is, the more you practice that one, you can improve that. Maybe you can improve the other ones, but I don't know.
That was actually kind of my follow-up question on this one too. You can get better at the imagining. Do you feel like if you were trying to learn something, if you were trying to learn how to chop an onion or how to cast a line with a fishing pole, do you feel like if once you've done it a little bit and you're imagining it, are you practicing that? And does that help you get better at the actual activity? Does it translate back and forth, or is it just that you can get better at imagining the sensations?
There are scientific studies that actually have shown that shadow boxing improves boxers' performance, that if you're doing martial arts, there's certain athletes that if they visualize the thing that they're trying to do, their performance does increase. Like the science study that I saw was set up in a way where it's like you had a control group of people that were actually practicing, and you had a control group of people that weren't doing anything, no preparation, and you had the test group, which was they were only imagining doing the task. And so they had a control of nothing and a control of actual practice. And where the imagination group was actually closer to the practice group, not to the level of the physical practice, but they were far away from the controlled do nothing group. They just showed up and they did it. They were still trained athletes to do the task, but it's like the certain metric that they were trying to improve did not get better, or maybe they weren't athletes. I'd have to look at the study, but this does exist.
That's weird because boxing, as soon as you said boxing, for whatever reason, I did a good job of like, I almost fully zoned out to visualize. It was like a full daydream moment, but I was like, okay, I'm in a ring, it's pure darkness, and like Ronda Rousey standing across trying to punch me in the face, and I could see it, and the swing went to the left of my head, and it was like, oh, I hear the like as she, like that was close, like I could hear that and feel like the almost breeze, and it's like, okay. But then I was like, well, let me try to visualize more. Okay, now there's a crowd, there's camera flashes, I'm adding a bit more to it, now there's more noise, and like I actually kept building, and it went pretty well. That was more frames in my imagination as I was moving and dodging and whatever. I wasn't swinging back, and her fists kind of became Acme Acre, like the glove just kind of launched at me and she was still as far away. So it wasn't perfect, but like it was building into something more and more interesting, and there were more sensations, like the crowd making noise and the whooshing so I was able to build upon it there, which was cool. Trying to think about the senses. I'm sure I've done that. I've just never consciously thought about the process of building the scene in my mind.
I think that to tie all that together, like what you're saying, is since I've started doing these like movies and stuff, there's a big part of directing, I think, that is like visualizing the shot, right? Getting better at imagining what that is. I don't think that my imaginations are any more vivid or clear, but there is a level of practice where it's like, I've seen more camera angles. I've seen more lens options. I've seen more positions where it can be. I know the difference between like a probe now. So I can apply those to my imagination. And at the very least, I can hold it in my head longer. Because my biggest problem is I can imagine things or a song, but I can't play it all the way through because it'll shunt to a different thought pretty quickly. So concentration, I think, and that kind of meditation of the focus in that space and in that state is the practice that you can do and the way that you can improve besides just experiencing new things. I think that the proprioception is one that you can actually tangibly get better at. I don't know why that would be, but I think because in my experience as a child, I did a lot more and then I fell out of it. I was worse at it and then I got better at it.
Your out my ass conjecture would be it's because that's one you can immediately feel in real life. Like if you're trying to get better at that, but it's with smell or it's with imagining objects that you're like seeing, you'd have to have it in front of you, right? If you were trying to practice, if I'm trying to get better at picturing an apple and I have an apple. And so you're like, don't look at the apple, look at the apple, don't. But when it's your body, when it's a physical motion, like you maybe not even doing it, but the pathways in your brain of like, and now I'm jumping, now I'm moving in this way. Like it's a constant connection that you have. You don't need a thing to look at or a thing that you're smelling or hearing to like practice. You're constantly switching back and forth between like, I'm imagining what it might feel like. And now I'm getting the real sensation of like trying to fire these nerves in this way or whatever. Like I imagine that has to do with it because almost all the other senses, it's like you're sensing a thing that's outside of you in some fashion. Maybe I can get better at it.
It's interesting to me that smell and taste are definitely the weaker two of all the ones we've talked about.
Which is funny because smell is supposed to be like your olfactory is your strongest, tied to memory is your strongest thing. But I guess that doesn't mean that it's a thing you're good at imagining inherently in the same way.
I've seen some kind of like functional MRI scans that show the pathways of like smell compared to a dog's. Like a smell for dogs ties almost everywhere into their brain, like the visual centers, the memory centers, stuff like that. Whereas for humans, it really doesn't go very far. It doesn't tie into all the other parts of the brain. Whereas like vision does, it bounces through the entire, like your eyes are in the front, the vision processors are in the back, and it transverses through the entirety of it. I think similarly with audio, like there's much more brain activity in those senses than smell. I don't know about taste. Probably similar, which is weird considering how much humans like food.
Well, yeah, smell and taste are linked, right? So that would make sense that they would follow a similar path.
Oh, there was one more thing. For the proprioception, I wonder if this has to do with why people have a really interesting ability to kind of become the vehicle they're piloting. Because when you're driving, you just kind of, I don't know, it's not like you become it, but you get integrated in it where you subconsciously can feel the car's movement, and you kind of like personality wise, people have big trucks, not me of course, but people have big trucks are like, look how big I am,
Is that what that's about? Wait, is that a sensation that both of you guys identify with, where you feel like if you're in the driver's seat in some way, you're like becoming the vehicle? Because I exclusively feel like I'm in the driver's seat and I'm piloting the thing, and I have an accurate perception of my car because I know how big it is and how wide it is, but not at all do I feel connected to it like you're describing. It feels like I'm driving the thing and together we're a team, and the car is always separate from me, and it feels like a thing I'm using.
I wouldn't say specifically, but I can't remember where I was reading this. This is more just like other observations of other people for these like things. But there also is that trance-like state where you lose all perception and the car is still going in the right direction and not crashing, and you have made exits.
Oh yeah, where you like zone out and all of a sudden you're just 5 miles further.
Specifically, what you said that triggers it is like how connected people are to what their car is and how that makes them feel. Like the joke about, oh, he must have a small penis because he's got a huge truck or whatever. I've always felt like the car I have, or like I had a motorcycle in college, I always thought the motorcycle was cool as shit. And I knew that I looked like I was huge. Like I'm this big, tall, fat dude on this motorcycle. I looked like I'm like a clown on a tiny motorcycle. I did not give a shit because the thing was cool. The motorcycle is cool. Right now, I'm really like my car. Like I miss my Subaru, but the car I have currently is a really nice car. I think it looks awesome. I do not think it makes me look cool. I think I look like a huge dweeb when I'm driving along singing the System of a Down in my BMW, but the car is cool as shit. But like if people feel like their identity merges with it somehow, like that makes a lot of sense because people get obsessed with like how their car makes them look or feel. And it like becomes a part of their personality. Like Jeep people become Jeep people when they get a Jeep. Never understood that, but it's a whole phenomenon.
They get their ducks. Got to give a duck away. You see another Jeep? Put a duck on it.
That makes a lot of sense, but I've never felt that in that way or anything.
I wouldn't say I feel it too strong.
I'm curious what the subreddit's going to say about all this. This is the whole point of this episode. Is I just want to put this out there, and then I'm going to read all the comments that the subreddit leaves because I want to know what all these different people have to say about these things. But that's really interesting.
I mean, you can feel your car, like you get to know your car, right? So you can feel the bumps in the road. You can tell when something's like kind of off with the car because you get just used to the way it's supposed to feel. But I've never felt like the car and I have become one symbiotic being or anything. I can't feel like I've felt that merging. Plus, the internet tells me I still don't have a car, so I wouldn't know that feeling anyway.
Yeah, someday you'll get one, and then you'll be able to talk about this.
One day.
Feel bad for you walking everywhere.
All right. Don't mind it.
I see how that happened. I see how.
That's a point, buddy.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey, I didn't do it, and that's not fair to you. That was funny.
See, now I can picture the scene from, was it Pulp Fiction, where he's holding the pocket watch and talking to little Bruce Willis.
Well, this was fun. I love when we do episodes where we're just talking about a thing that applies exclusively to me. I did give you points, though.
If anything, I felt like it applied more to us because we could visualize and experience more.
No. It's all about Bob.
I hope everyone finds it interesting, but I found it very interesting, which is all I care about. No particular order. Wade, you earned a segue point, but it's crossed out. You earned a mom point. Can't remember why. You earned a point for your impressions. You earned a point for bad voice. You earned a point for not being able to smell at all. You have medium taste. You have medium tactile. You can sort of imagine your motor stuff, and then you're walking everywhere, leaving you with a total of 9 points. Mark, you earned a point for being so famous. You earned the real segue point. You earned the voices in your head point. You earned a reading comprehension point. You earned also no smell, medium taste, another segue point, and then a good tactile sense point. And then you earned a point for vivid motor imagery, which leaves you at a total. Wait, what? I have also 9. Wait a minute. Hang on. Let me count this again.
Why is that so outrageous?
I should have been counting.
Okay, you both have 9 points. I don't know. I just felt like I said a lot more stuff for Mark.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah, I don't know.
It seemed like he had more things listed under the point.
Yeah, man. I feel like I'm being treated fairly here. Wait, you just did not nearly as good as Mark. I can't believe you're tied.
I just felt like Mark performed a lot better, but actually it's tied.
Great. Glad we all feel that way.
Congratulations. You exceeded expectations. Isn't that what you want?
I don't feel as good about it as you think I should.
You should feel great. You should be really proud of yourself, buddy.
I think you just don't want to see an even number here.
I would love not to see an even number here. How many wheel spins will there be? Ah, look at that. It's going to be 3 again.
Hey, all right. It all comes down to this.
Who would have guessed that? Seriously, though. 3, 3, 3, 2. Okay, well, there's 4 2s in a row. But there's 2 3s and whatever.
Yeah, suspicious.
Suspicious. And not at all statistics.
Next Constitution, we will have a suspicious be a trigger word for something.
Oh, I got yelled at by someone on stream. They were like, you guys said unfair twice in this episode and no one noticed it. And I was like, oh, well, it's part of the rule. We have to notice it.
That's part of the rules, everybody. If no one catches it, you don't get mad. I call unfair on the audience.
Oh,
it's unfair that they keep forgetting how the rules work.
Well, I guess we have to get a meaningful coin toss before we have to decide what it means.
We're all looking for meaningful head.
I think that they shouldn't be able to ever get mad if an unfair is not caught. And if we go heads down, it'll be they are allowed to get double mad.
All right. Well, I'm sure nothing bad will happen from this coin flip.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
I got heads. No, wait. No. I got tails. I got lion ass.
Oh, no!
Oh, God.
Wait, so that means...
The audience is allowed to get double mad.
Oh, yeah. Mark wins if we get all heads. But we got all tail. Am I sure this is tails? Yeah, because the lady is heads.
Why don't you get a coin with actual heads and tails on it?
Because this one has a lion and he has a tail, and that's tails enough. But it's not, because I never remember.
So if we miss an unfair now, I guess we have to be punished for it.
Good thing this is the last episode.
I think the audience gets to decide what the punishment should be.
So if we miss an unfair and the audience catches it, the moderators need to make a thread on the subreddit, and maybe the top comment will be, well...
let's hold on now. Let's not give them too much power.
There has to be some discretion. No, if I've learned anything about the internet, it's that you should never use the top comment for anything of value.
How about we it'll be the top 2 comments or 3, and we get to veto. Like, we have to pick which one. But, that way, if there's 2 options, 3 seems not, that's too loose. 2 would be, that way they can't just make a joke top one.
Yeah, but what if the top 2 comments are the guys in the podcast or the guys doing an episode completely naked? Like, I don't want to do either of those.
Because this is one-off kind of thing. Maybe we could make 3. I don't know.
What if we each get a veto? So we have 3 vetoes. And we just keep going down.
Or we do nothing and stay status quo and say...
No, the coins have spoken. If we don't honor the coins, none of this means anything.
Next Council of Distractible, we're getting rid of the coin.
I don't think that's going to happen. I love the coin. The coin is my favorite part of the whole thing.
I love the coin. The coin's great.
We might need to change the word because apparently we say unfair a lot and then don't notice it. But so does that seem like a dual? We each get one veto. Like, the vetoes are emergency escape hatches. We're not supposed to just all veto to get, but if there's 3 things that are like, they have sex and Wade kills Bob and whatever, like, we can.
So it's up to the audience to come up with serious punishments. This has a ripple effect.
So wait, does it punish all of us since we all would have missed the unfair?
It would be an arbitrary new rule, I think, that we have to apply, or it's a straight punishment or something else. But it's every time we would miss it.
Well, as long as we don't look at the subreddit, that's not real.
But they can't defend you if you don't look at it.
What I'm going to add to the bonus point wheel is you get a point if you were the one who claimed unfair in the episode.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
It's completely unbiased. It just so happens that Mark is the one who did that in this episode.
Hey!
But we all have the chance to claim unfair whenever we so choose.
It's so weird hearing the word now. Every time I'm like, oh, you said it.
Unfair. Get out of your system, boys. Unfair.
Unfair.
Anyway, we got 3 spins, and I'm sure that the subreddit won't do anything that will make us regret this and inevitably have to stop following this procedure because they're going to ruin it because the internet's not allowed to have nice things.
Makes you feel any better. I already regret it.
I regret nothing.
All right, spin number 1.
Bald?
Current record holder for most points.
Someone posted a spreadsheet of the points recently.
Oh, it was posted like yesterday. Yeah, wait a minute.
Most points in a single episode?
Current record holder is Bob, but whether or not you want to apply the host rules to that, second place would be me, third place is Wade for most points total.
At least I meddled, I guess.
I'm going to say I don't get it. I'm going to give it to Mark.
All right, yes. Wade, you have 572. I have 649. Bob has 666 and a half.
All right. No more points for me. Leave it right there, everybody.
I must be too generous with points. That must be why I'm so far behind. I give out a lot more points.
You really are. I would say that you give out more points than Mark and I do, generally speaking. Mark is stingy. Mark will have episodes where it's like 5 to 7.
Well, yeah, okay. You're right.
Which isn't wrong.
Mine are like 52 to 48.
There's no established scale for that. That's just how Wade will give out like 30 points an episode. I used to give out way more than I do now. Earlier on in this book here, I got episodes where it's like Mark has 36 and Wade has some other joke number.
I just have this whole bag of points I bought. I guess I just felt like I should use them before they expire.
Expired points. That date's a lie. You have to listen to that. Oh no.
Oh, interesting.
Why?
Hey, click view stats real quick.
You've had some really bad wheel luck lately, Bob.
You gotta be fucking kidding me with this.
6 for sudden death. That's pretty, man.
Sudden death has hit 6 times, which makes it tied for fourth.
All right, okay.
That's so unlikely.
Listeners are up 7-5 over viewers.
I have it scribbled on the back of my notebook. It's not. Holy shit! I just got a cramp in my hand.
Yeah, because we had two add 10s.
Currently, I have it written down that the winner's wheel is supposed to be at 28%. Mark, Wade, or one man show. No. Okay. Oh my God. Jesus God. I mean, I wasn't worried. I could do it.
It's okay. Only a measly 2% gets added.
Yeah, what do we add? Is it 2%? Isn't it 6?
I thought it was 2%, which ended up being like 6 points.
I thought it was 2 because it used to hit a lot more. And then now we've gone out of our way to make sure it never hits.
All right. I'm going to say 2%. And I've documented March 3rd, 2026, 30%. Wade wins, and nothing else needs to happen. And that's the end. And let's stop threatening me with one-man shows. Congratulations, Wade. Mark, would you like to give your loser speech?
Listen, the wheel speaks the truth, but you know who speaks harder truth? The coin. So I know it was my fault for calling this on you guys out there, but hey, remember who I am.
If you don't remember, check the headlines. They always tell the truth about him.
Yeah. Remember me? Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Mark. Wade, winner speech.
Thanks. I'm glad that the coins and the wheels generally kind of give me a bit of a break. Because, man, it's tough to get points. Even whenever I do get the right amount of points to tie or win, they're surprised. My co-hosts are surprised. Like, I didn't think Wade was even in this episode. I'm surprised he tied with Mark. But the sad realization is that even whenever I do win, I win with the same amount of points as somebody else. I'm never going to catch up. I will always be behind. But maybe we'll get surprise least point golf rules added to the wheel someday, so I'll have another chance.
You actually won this episode with less points than Mark, to be clear. The score was 10-9 when it was declared a tie and we entered sudden death.
I feel even worse about my victory.
You won from last place. It's a miracle.
Great.
Congratulations. Well, that's Wade's winner speech. I'm going to end it there. Make sure you follow the podcast and then you'll know when new episodes. Spend some extra ones. You might have missed them. If you're not following the show, you'll never know. Make sure you follow Mark and Markiplier, Wade at Lord Minion777 or Minion777. I am MySkirm on the internet. Make sure you keep checking the shop, distractible.shop, because there will be merch there soon. That's the end of the episode. Wade is going to host the next one. I know we're all shocked, but it's true. Wade's going to host the next one. I'm sorry, Mark. I really tried. That's the end of the episode. So thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Podcast out.
This is why you get sudden death.